SuccessMaker is a continuously adaptive literacy program. You have been provided with student demo accounts, and you've also been provided with a teacher account. In this brief video, we'll give you an overview of the teacher dashboard. When logged in as a teacher, you'll notice across the top of the screen, you'll see a menu bar with different areas of progress monitoring tools. We'll look at those in just a second. Down the left side, you'll notice student names, and in the lower left, you'll see assignments. SuccessMaker also has a math component, but today, since we're looking just at literacy, I've single-clicked on reading to select the reading data, and that way I've filtered out any math data that may be on this demo site. The way the dashboard works is that whatever you've selected in the menu bar and whatever you've selected down the left side, those two components present in the center. So right now I'm on goals for all of my students and reading. So here are my reading goals, and this is all about usage. To be sure that I'm using this program with fidelity, we know that's a key component for your implementations. The goal for the year would be that students would use SuccessMaker 20 to 25 hours per year. With that in mind, as soon as a student begins to fall behind that goal for the year, you just click on this red bar and it's going to tell you who that is. So as soon as they fall behind, I'll see red, I can click it and see the student's name. I can see the average minutes per week, how many additional minutes per week that student needs, and of course my target. When I click the back button, it takes me back to the main screen. All of these bars are active, so I could click on any bar at any time to see how I'm doing with my usage. Another area of progress monitoring is mastery. I'm going to select mastery, and then I'm going to select the reading tab. In this view, I will see the skills that students have been assessed on, and I'll see in color coding how they're doing. SuccessMaker is a continuously adaptive program, so the student will take an initial placement to determine their start level in the course, and then from that point on, the student will be continuously assessed, formative assessment, to decide does he need instruction or does he need remediation now, or has he not mastered that skill after remediation. So you'll see color coding here. Green is mastered, yellow is at risk, and red is not mastered. So if a student is in the middle of remediation, the skill will be listed in yellow. If the student has 2 rounds of remediation and still didn't get it, he will be listed as not mastered for that skill. So as you look down, you'll see a strand and a substrand. So I've got students working in comprehension, and I've got some students in literary elements who are having questions. They have problems with the settings. So again, the bars are active. I can click on the bar and see who is it that's struggling. And on the right, you'll see I can also see the number of attempts. This is great information, but I can also change this to my Utah standards. So I'm going to click this bar that says SuccessMaker Mastery Skills Reading. This is a demo site, so you'll see a lot of standards here, but I'm going to select Utah. On your site, if you purchase SuccessMaker, you will only have your Utah standards, so you won't have all those other listings. But here I get a more detailed view of how my students are doing on their standards. Now again, as I scroll down on this list, I can see students who are mastering, students who have not mastered, and I can see this color coding. You'll also notice that, again, that bars are active, so I can click that bar to see which students have been assessed. Because SuccessMaker functions like a personal tutor, all students are working at their own level. So it's great to be able to come in here and see the mastery status. I can click mastery status, and that column heading sorts the list of students for me. Another thing I can do is I could click Run Mastery Report, and this report pops up in a new window. You want to be sure you have pop-up blockers turned off so that you can see the report. But this gives me a printable report of each individual student with their standards mastery information. This is great for standards-based report cards, parent conferences. It's just a great report. Another great thing is under students. When we look under students, we're going to get some data for our students. We're going to have some information on their levels. And the interesting thing here is if I go to this gear, I can select student performance details. And sometimes as a teacher, we need to support students. They're working in SuccessMaker, it's working at their level, but maybe they're struggling. I can come in here and use the progress monitoring graph and the last session graph to help me intervene with that student. So the progress monitoring graph is a graph that's a projection to let me see where the student is now and where we expect him to be. If you scroll to the second graph, this graph is excellent for intervention because this is what the student worked on in their last session. We know that studies show immediate descriptive feedback is so powerful. So if I've got a student that I'm concerned about, I can come here and work with this graph. And as I move my cursor over, it tells me the different objectives that the student worked on in her last session. Now the percentages on the left show us the height of the bar. So if they did well, their bar is going to be taller. If they didn't do well, it's lower. And on this graph, it's great because I can click on the graph and I actually have a link. You'll want to try this. You can click the link that will actually take you into content. I could have a conference with the student, and my conference is saying, I can see what you worked on in your last session. You did very well in this area on main idea or main characters. You did very well in R-controlled vowels, and I can just let the student know how well he or she did, but here's where you struggled, and let me help you with this. So if I click on the bar and then I can click on this link, it will take me to direct content. In addition to areas in the menu bar, we also have printable reports. They're located in the lower left. To run a report, you simply select the report and click Run, and again it pops up in a new window. In the Cumulative Performance Report, you're going to be able to see a bird's eye view of your class. You'll be able to see how they're doing on mastery, how they're doing in gain, what's their level, all from one report. And this is sort of a big starting point that allows me to see, okay, where do I need to dig deeper? Who needs my help? Another report that's accessed in the same way the Cumulative Performance Report is accessed is the Areas of Difficulty report. If I see on my Cumulative Performance Report that I've got some students who are falling behind in their mastery, I can come here and use this report to help put together small groups for intervention. This report provides me with a skill, and under the skill, the students who are struggling with it, these would be the students who were in red on my teacher dashboard. And it also gives us a date at which they were determined to be at risk. Another report that SuccessMaker provides is the Individual Student Performance Report. This is a report on an individual student, and it provides all the great information from the other reports we've looked at. It includes cumulative performance information here as far as levels and mastery. It even includes each strand that the student is working in, along with percentages. How's that student doing in each strand? And then at the bottom of the report, you'll see areas of difficulty. And then finally, for teachers working daily, we know that it's so important to keep track of students every day. If we want a cumulative report and if we want students to make progress so that at the end of the year we've reached our goals, one of the best ways to do that is watch how they work each day. And in this report, it's going to tell you the time they spend each day. It's also going to list for you how many questions they attempted, how many they got correct, and the exercises percent correct. So this gives me sort of a springboard for motivation. Simple things like, let's see how many questions you can get right today, and really celebrate the students who have accomplished more in that day. And again, all of those reports are listed in this area. As you can see, this teacher dashboard is very easy to navigate. If you have any questions, we'd love to answer those for you and help you. Thanks again for your interest in SuccessMaker.